Some voices are AI generated. We hope you enjoy the video.
All right, guys, let's dive into a classic today. We're watching the Stuart Little movies. Who's excited?
I am! I've always loved the idea of a tiny mouse living in a human family. What do you think, Tails?
The book that the movies were based on was very bizarre and not perfect. But the movies did make audiences want to read the book in retrospect.
A mouse in a human family? That's just silly.
Oh, Knuckles, don't be such a grump. They're kids' movies. They're supposed to be fun.
Not to mention, Sonic used to live with the Thorndikes in Sonic X, and Movie Sonic with the Wachowskis. Humans and other animals living together isn't strange at all.
And Stuart himself is voiced by Marty McFly himself, Michael J. Fox. I have a soft spot for these movies. And no, it's not because of the voice of Stuart, but the morals and the beauty of having a family, despite not being biological.
Let's see what the first one is all about. The Littles family wanted to adopt a brother for the kid George, and instead of getting a fellow human, they get a talking mouse. Throughout the movie, George refused to acknowledge Stuart as a brother until a boat race.
And after the boat race, two mice visited the Littles' house claiming to be Stuart's real parents, but they were just bait for Stuart to leave because of the cat Snowbell being jealous and relying on other cats to get rid of the mouse.
The head of the orphanage even revealed to the Littles that Stuart's biological parents had passed away from a terrible accident. The humans then went to look for Stuart while handing out flyers. The climax of the movie was surprisingly dark.
And these are real cats, not anthropomorphic ones. And they're strays rather than house cats like Snowbell. Stuart's lucky none of the felines are like me, since they don't have my pyrokinesis. I can already imagine a spin-off where Stuart is a flame expert like myself.
The actors did a decent job, especially the parents Eleanor and Frederick. They had chemistry and were believable.
Despite both movies being made in 1999 and 2002, the visuals still hold up.
What's also interesting is that the director of both movies is one of the directors of The Lion King.
Speaking of The Lion King, check out our review of that classic.
Except for Knuckles, we all love the first Stuart Little. The sequel is also great, and we'll discuss it in a bit.
The first Stuart Little movie was very successful, and it was one of the last big movies of 1999, making it one of the final family flicks in the century and millennium.
Sure, the film is average, but it has that nostalgic, guilty pleasure charm that only the late 90s and early 2000s had.
I agree with Tails. Both Stuart Little movies have a charm that modern movies don't have. The atmosphere, the visuals, and the humor are different. It may not be for everyone, but to us, and to most people who were around back then, might still enjoy both movies.
I don't know. My taste in movies are very picky. I'm more into 2000s movies than 90s movies, and pretty much all of the best popular movies.
I had a feeling one of us wouldn't like these films. I like the second movie more than the original, but I'll explain in a bit.
I like both movies equally because Snowbell has funny moments. I still can't believe that the voice of Timon is Snowbell in these movies.
Seeing a mouse being raised by humans remind me of, you guessed it, Maria and Professor Robotnik. If the Littles were a family of scientists, I wouldn't be surprised if Stuart became their literal lab rat.
I don't mind having a family with humans, as long as they let me use my telekinetic powers, and if they're not as annoying as the humans from Sonic X, I would have dealt with them if I debuted in the game sooner.
Now let's move on to Stuart Little 2. This movie has a lot more going on as two new characters arrive. A sweet yellow bird named Margullo, and the new villain Falcon, who strangely is just named after his bird breed.
Another new character is Stuart and George's baby sister Martha. A subplot of the movie involves the mom Eleanor trying to help Martha say her first words. The plot itself focuses on Stuart helping the bird Margullo heal from her injury, but she lied as she was forced by Falcon to steal the family's jewelry and giving it to Falcon.
Falcon is voiced by James Woods, the same guy who voiced Hades in the Disney Hercules movie. You can tell Margullo and Falcon are similar to Meg and Hades, except Margullo is gentler and not sassy like Meg. Falcon isn't a god of hell, just a big bird who loves jewelry, and not a treasure hunter like Rouge.
I am a better treasure hunter, and Falcon is lucky we weren't in the movie because we weren't around until Sonic X came out a year later after the second Stuart Little came out.
And here's why I love the second Stuart Little better than the first movie. The mom, Eleanor, has dazzling jewelry. Her pearl necklace was just exquisite, and the wedding ring is something I'd unalive someone for. I wouldn't rely on a Tweety bird to take jewelry for me. I'd take it myself, just not from innocent human families with mice.
At least Rouge has limits, unlike Falcon. The movie did have a lot more high stakes because of Stuart needing to face fears and protecting the bird from a bigger bird.
The climax was once again dark, but not as much as the previous movie. Stuart used his model airplane to fight Falcon, and surprisingly, Falcon went through a lot of shit. He broke through a popcorn maker and Stuart's plane blades, and he still didn't have blood. Instead, he was injured and was implied to be eaten by the stray cat Monty.
It's obvious that these are kids' movies. If they were more adult-oriented, the blood would have been shown. In fact, Falcon would have died Green Goblin style, being impaled by the airplane. And how fitting, since both the second Stuart Little and the first Spider-Man movie came out the same year, and that they were both released by Sony.
The second movie ends with Margullo saying goodbye to the Littles and flew away. Baby Martha even said her first words, "Bye-bye, Birdie," and everyone was happy. I think it was the right way to end the movie. It may not be the greatest, but both Stuart Little movies are another set of movies that are nostalgic towards the late 90s and 2000s generation.
I couldn't agree more, Sonic. These movies have a distinct charm that can't be replicated nor duplicated. The fact that there isn't a reboot of these movies goes to show how there are franchises that are relics of the past and that need to stay in the past.
Tails made a good point. Stuart Little isn't a huge franchise. Sure, there was a short-lived animated series on HBO, but it was made around the same time as the second movie, and there were a few video games.
Bizarrely, the second movie got a game on the PS1 rather than the PS2. There were a couple of Game Boy and PC games based on both movies as well.
And there was even a game that was titled Stuart Little 3, but it was a PS2 game. And here's the interesting part. It was published by Sega. That means we're somewhat connected to the little mouse.
It even used the iToy, since there were a lot of games during that era that had that webcam-looking accessory for the PS2. I can't believe our company was involved with that mouse.
As much as I respect the mouse and that I want a family, it is kinda lame that a game that was supposed to be a third outing of a movie series was made. No one even talks about it.
If this was about a random mouse that didn't talk, I would find it and eat it. Even though I am royal and have flame powers, my feline instincts kick in when I see rodents that aren't sentient like Stuart and the rest of us Mobians.
We restrain Blaze if she sees mice that can talk. I think that's why we rarely see rodents that are tiny in our games, comics and cartoons.
We still got a lot of movies to review. We need to do more gameplay videos too. And most importantly, the current/meta crew will have a chat about the next game. We need to make sure we have everything set up.
Don't get me anxious, Knuckles. I know we've got a lot to do, but let's just calm down and think about what's next. Stuart Little is reviewed, and the next review is George of the Jungle, specifically the live-action Disney movie starring Brendan Fraser.
By the way, we watched these movies on our projector outside our backyard. I better disassemble the screen now that we're done reviewing the movie.
The next video won't be the review of George of the Jungle. It's actually the watch-along commentary of Shadow Generation's Dark Beginnings. Amy and Tails will join the Three Shadows and Current Rouge watching the 3 short films.
We don't want to just do reviews in a row. We gotta have a pattern of videos to keep the variety going for the fans.
I'm watching these shorts with my fellow Shadows, and the shorts are very well animated, similar to Stuart Little. Maybe a little faster and darker than the mouse.
Wait, I hear something, or is it someone?
Hey, I heard you were reviewing my movies. Just want to say you've made great opinions.
Stuart Little? Man, this keeps getting interesting.
Don't tell us you joined the channel too.
Knuckles, shut up and be nice.
It's okay. I understand some of you aren't giving me good vibes. I just wanted to tell you that you forgot to review my third movie.
Third movie? I know there was a game, but not a movie itself.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know there's a third movie. And even if there is, it's probably well forgotten.
Or that it was dog shit and everyone wants to forget that it existed.
Yeah, like Sonic 06 levels of dog shit.
In that case, let me show you guys this to help you remember.
1 hour and 15 minutes later.
Well, guys, what did you think of the third movie? Did it suck, or was it better than expected?
Dear God, the PTSD is coming back to us. Jesus, Joseph and Mary, what did we just watch?
It all came back to me. The awful animation, the shitty writing, the downgrade of quality control, the lack of heart. No! This doesn't exist! This movie does not exist!
See? I told you guys why we shouldn't have reviewed these movies. That mouse forced us to watch that abomination. Let's get out of here.
That was awful!
Oops. I should have asked them if they didn't watch the third movie, Call of the Wild. This video would have ended with all of us together. But instead, these Mobians left me alone. I hope they don't hate on me when I return in future videos. Sorry that I made them leave me to finish the video by myself. I'm happy to join Juan CL's channel, and I can't wait to visit whenever I'm needed. The next video will be the Shadow Generation's Dark Beginnings watch-along, and the next review is George of the Jungle. I might make a few cameos, or even be in the background like any other house mouse. I'll even be quiet as one too. George better not be jealous that I went to join a YouTube channel without him. And Mom and Dad shouldn't be mad at me for unintentionally disrespecting my fellow animals. As the saying goes, go ahead and give this video a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification button so you can't miss future videos. Spread the word, stick around, and stay tuned for more new videos. I better check on Martha and Snowbell quickly. Better not miss my curfew. Peace out and rock on.
This has been Juan CL Productions. The end.